Good morning, gentlemen. Myself Vijay. He is my colleague Aniraj. We are basically from Reliance Digital TV. Our responsibility is product management and product development. Today I'm going to talk about STB field failure rate containment process improvement. As you all know, we have started our operations in the year 2008. We have acquired 1 million customers in just 90 days. However, we had very high field failure rate. Field engineers were spending most of the time attending these field defects, not basically and rather than concentrating on the acquisitions. So we wanted to analyze this. So the basic background, so the metrics which were affecting the product quality. Field defect rate was 1.8% against the total population what we had in the year 2008, and we have high hardware failures around 40% of the total field defects, and there were many repair bounces wherein the set-top box is basically repaired at the repair center and going into the field, and there were bounce cases with respect to a year. The bounce cases around 8%. Altogether constitutes support cost of 130 million in terms of rupees actually. So in terms of customer satisfaction also, I can talk about service outage duration was 36 hours. That is basically customer complaining at the customer care for his issue and resolving at the final resolution actually. That is 36 hours. And of course there were random defects. The defect rate was 10%. These random defects, we were not able to identify the root cause, and typically the signal lost and all those kind of issues actually. And defect life cycle was very high. It was around 4.3 months actually, and there were repeat incidents around 13%, wherein we have given a resolution to the customer and customer complaining at the customer care the second time. These are the basic metrics which were affecting the customer satisfaction. Overall, we wanted to analyze these particular factors, and we wanted to improve the product. What exactly we have analyzed? Of course, we were doing good things and we were not doing few things actually. What we were lacking? We were lacking in terms of there was no reliability model which can predict the component failures, and there were no troubleshooting tools for the field engineers. There was no software patch releases, and there were many learnings from the field wherein we have not translated those particular learnings into a new design specifications or new product revisions actually. And we were not doing the post-mortem analysis wherein we can take the set-top box products from the field where they had issues, and we can do a post-mortem analysis in the lab actually. And of course some points related to training and handling of the set-top boxes. Of course, we were doing some good things actually. We were collecting actual symptoms from the customer care, and also we were actually capturing the data from the field and the repair centers. So after all this analysis, what we wanted to focus on, or basically focusing the cost and the quality factor, we wanted to improve the product quality. So the cost factors in terms of reduction of service request and early defect resolution, in terms of early we can give a solution for the defects at the customer care itself, so that we can focus on acquisitions. And we want to reduce the OT related failures also, and there were a lot of repair bounces, so we wanted to reduce that also. Together all this constitutes cost factor. And with respect to quality, we wanted to minimize the defect life cycle. The defect cycle was earlier it was 4.3 months. That we wanted to reduce so that we can give a quick fix to the software issues actually in the field. And also we wanted to minimize random and repeat failures, and we wanted to minimize the no resolution cases also. That is not acceptable. So that is why we wanted to minimize that rate also. So after this analysis, we have taken some measures, both in terms of product as well as process level. So of course there were some significant measures we have taken with respect to remote troubleshooting. So we wanted to empower three different areas in terms of we wanted to empower customer care, we wanted to empower the backend team, and also we want to empower the field team also. To empower the customer care, we wanted to give a remote troubleshooting tools wherein customer care executive can resolve the query on the phone itself. So typically what this is the innovative stuff we have developed, that is remote box manager, wherein we have developed this particular remote box manager, OpenTV middleware, which gives a feature. We can download a software on a set-top box with a different stream altogether, and we can troubleshoot what is the defect, and we can give a solution on the same time. So typically the web-based solution which we have developed, it is at the back-end slide. This is slide, actually this is the web-based application which we have developed. And also the second significant point which we wanted to empower the backend team also, the hardware failure mode analysis, wherein we wanted to analyze the component and unit failure. How do we predict the component and unit failure? So using MTBF analysis, we can take the set-top box from the field and we can analyze the accelerated live testing. So we can analyze what is the component which is a typical lifespan actually. Typically the one of the other background slide which shows the 19,000 hours after one of the particular component. And also we wanted to empower the field team. So wherein we have basically developed error codes and diagnostics. The typical diagnostics wherein this is basically diagnostics can be loaded on a set-top box product, and we can understand the health of the product. So this is one of the other tool which we have given it to the field team. And of course the localization wherein reverse polarity and multi-language methods we wanted to improve, or we wanted to use this particular methods for a measure actually. In terms of process, the one of the significant the measure what we have used is, earlier we were using waterfall model for software maintenance releases. So then we have shifted to iterative maintenance release. This is the measure, and what exactly the method we have used? The method we have used is selective patch release. This is one of the unique feature wherein we can download the software on a set-top box, and we can keep this particular software can be loaded on a set-top box which has some issues, and we can observe the behavior for a certain duration. So typically we have loaded on a smaller population, that is we can call alpha population, which is a very small scale, and after and observe for the duration for around say around smaller duration like 1 week or 10 days. The measures in terms of product and processes what we have done. So typically this particular project went for 12 to 15 months, and after that of course we have achieved so few particular metrics. So reduction in terms of STV field defect, we have reduced by 43%, and total STV failure we have reduced by 30%. Including both of these particular factors, effectively the effective cost we have reduced by 49%. So we have basically achieved the customer delight. How exactly we have achieved the customer delight? So we have basically reduced the service outage duration. Earlier it was 36 hours, and now we have reduced to 23 hours. And we have improved the field confidence basically by reducing the field defects also. And we have reduced the reduction in terms of e-wastage. That is typically the set-top box repair reduction. It has been reduced by 30%. I can say about the reduced e-wastage. And all these and even with respect to the bug fix time, that's defect life cycle, that also we have reduced to 6 weeks. Earlier it was 4.3 months. So together all these things we basically sustain the growth actually. So any questions?
Okay, my first question to you now is when this STB was introduced into the market,
okay,
and then the failures start occurring there. My first question to you is, what was the source of procurement of STBs?
Okay, question and answer, it will be answered by Mr. Aniraj.
The source of procurement, we import 100%.
Okay, this is what a question I wanted there, because if you are importing 100% from the China there, what are the quality measures you have had in place before this whole fiasco took place over there to ensure that they are better quality product to meet your demand?
In the beginning, we had a set of technical specifications which had to cater to the interoperability scenarios from the head end, the signals coming from the head end and things like that. There were, of course, MTBF measurements we had put down at the manufacturing plant as well as the design, in fact, from the design cycle to the manufacturing plant. But we've realized that, later, you've realized that many of these measurements that we do during the design cycle or during the manufacturing does not apply after a year or two. So that is what actually, that realization with the data from the field that actually we used to, or rather, opened our eyes to do these measurements in the field. So
what I can see your innovativeness in this now is that you went through the process of 12 to 15 months of I would say assessment and digging out the entire information before you came out with a solution as to how to check that particular thing. Now, that's a huge investment, 12 to 15 months of an STB trying to find in the field analysis, etc. It's a huge investment by any company over there. And this could have been easily done, checked over there if this was, a process control was at the induction level. Then the failure rate would be much better. Okay.
I'll answer to that. So, when my friend said the project duration that we had applied was 12 to 15 months, it was not that we could find the results at the end of 15 months. It was a gradual decline that we have seen in the beginning, but then it was a fast-paced decline that we have seen towards the end. Now, we have started seeing the results. We started in August 2010, we have started seeing the results soon after Diwali. So, within a span of 4 months, we could see that results really showing up. So, of course, there are a lot of investments that we have to do from the back end to get all the ecosystem partners together. We had around 6 ecosystem partners, this whole delivery chain, to make all these things happen. We had a lot of one roofs, deliberations, and analysis, and all things happened in the first 4 months or so. So we slowly started in using all these performance requirements, and then started seeing the results end of Diwali time frame in 2010. So the results that we see, we have captured here at the end of 15 months. That is what I think he had mentioned here.
But that means this was more of a crisis management, virtually. You went into crisis over there, then you went into finding solution for that thing, and then you came out with this particular slide, all solution over here. This is what we went through.
Of course, it was a crisis. I would admit that. In fact, the primary trigger was from the field that, for example, whenever you used to do an OTA, the over-there upgrade, there used to be a panic. It was a crisis. I admit that it was a crisis, and we had to plug that. Building field confidence was the biggest challenge that we had. Of course, all the parameters have to be put in place, but that was a big challenge that we had. And we persistently, put measures and made that happen. Of course, I admit that what you said. Yeah.
Now, I want to know, pinpoint the major defect. Was the defect in the quality of the instrument over there, or was the fault in the after sale service? Where was the main areas of concern which ultimately came out?
Okay. So there were product level issues. It was about, there were a lot of coordination related aspects which had to be put in place in the beginning. For example, the first point that we talked about, there were some things that we could have really attended to at the customer care itself than depending on a third party or whoever is not in our roles, the freelancers to be trained and then get the problem resolved in the field. Customer care is ours; we can easily handle them. So we realized that the earlier, the total defect cycle, if we empower the people at the beginning, the customer care, we could really arrest these failures or arrest these service requests by itself. So it was more of a realization that we learned and then put in practice. So of course we had to empowering a customer care to fix a problem in the field, detect the problem, get a fix for the problem. It was not so easy because they are not skilled people. And by giving a remote troubleshooting tool like web-based troubleshooting like this, where you can do a simple channel change to force software upgrade, was not an easy thing. And in fact, customer care doesn't need to know what you need to really do. And everything is given in the chart. If this is the problem, just do this, do this, do this. And if you look at the last slide, the average hold time, AHT is the average handling time, was 216 seconds in the beginning, and it slightly increased to 222 because of this. But that was really paid for. We could really justify the increase there.
This STB was which you are given this after.
Right.
Who has designed this STB? It was a design specifications had to be prepared by somebody. It was Reliance or somebody else has designed for you.
Right. We have.
This is the first question, of course.
Or should I wait for it?
Now you wait for, because one by one I'll ask, because it's a very important question. So you have taken it from Chinese, isn't it? So somebody has given that design specifications. Who has designed that STB?
So we have 3 product lines. Standard definition zapper, which is the lowest model. We have high definition zapper, and we have.
No, it was designed by Reliance
Yes.
engineers.
The specification is provided by Reliance. The technical specifications provided by Reliance. The requirements are spelled out by Reliance. The detailed software requirements, detailed hardware requirements is done by the ODMs.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the equipment was ultimately manufactured in China. So was that
manufactured in China.
tested before coming to the field? Actually?
Yes, yes. In fact, it was
When I say coming to the field, was those specifications which were given to them, were they tested in the field before coming?
Yes, it was.
Then if it has been tested,
Yeah.
as per your specification, there are one option, that means specifications were not correct. Because if you have tested as per specification, it shows that specifications were not correct. That means the specification which have been prepared has not been thought of whether it will work in the Indian market or not, or anywhere actually. So that is the point where I say, where is the innovativeness
Okay.
for users in our country or our needs actually.
Okay.
This question I have been asking all, because I am involved in the
Sure.
specifications and all
Sure.
this.
Appreciate that question. What we have found during this analysis was that specification was okay. We are not changing. Yes, we are not change the specification for the next revisions of the product. Only slight change of specification in the software, but the test coverage, the coverage of the test cases was not sufficient enough for a wide range of behavior that could expect in the Indian conditions, both from a behavioral perspective as well as an environment perspective. So in fact, that was something which my colleague had really embarked on. In the beginning, we had around 350 test cases, but we today stands at around 830 or something.
The persons who have already procured this STB, how you
Okay.
giving them the credit version now? How you are doing that? It's a very tough job. Once you deliver a product, then to put the patch every time.
Okay.
It's not a simple job.
In fact, in a DTS scenario, yes, I admit it is not so a simple job. Unlike a cable scenario, you can localize the test and then pop. Yeah. In DTS scenario, it was a big challenge, and that is why we came around with a solution here for the selective releases. The alpha population is something which, from a process angle, was something unique that we attempted, and it succeeded. Identifying the alpha population in different regions on a DTH network and attending to the calls for the problems that we could anticipate at the customer care, at the after sales, the entire delivery chain was a big challenge, and we made it. And it is practiced now and throughout. Now we have a release cycle in the iterative model. We have a release cycle for 6 months, wherein we capture all these bugs. We do bug scrub every week, and then we prioritize the bug for the next cycle, next 6-week cycle, and then we work upon them. And in a DTS scenario, it is a big challenge.
Since you have about 1 million subscribers or even growing as a number, are you looking at service management, or are you just looking at this innovation only from the, let's say, the hardware perspective, only to do with the STB? And my question just after this background is that even after installing the product, how do you ensure that the day-to-day changes are appropriately handled? In certain cases, there would be use cases where you have to troubleshoot, which can be delivered on a soft mode. So, any perspective on service management?
To the first question, we had to handle both product perspective as well as process perspective. If you look at the base model, where we have more than 95% of the population in the base model. Sorry. We have today we have four different suppliers for it. Earlier we had 3 when we were doing this project. Each product from a hardware angle and from a driver angle is different, and the diagnostics were more to do with the drivers than the middleware and the applications. If it had been if the population of the bugs that we have were more on the applications, we could have easily done it. But now, since it was more on the drivers, and we have Linux drivers, OS, different types of drivers.
Don't go there. Sorry to just help you navigate the question. What I'm trying to say is that, let's say for the end user, how does it matter either way? So he's not able to watch the thing on on screen, service operations, and second of all, he's irritated because there might be a cricket match or something of his interest that is coming, and the resolution time is more than 6 hours.
Okay.
So have you encountered this scenario at all, and do you look at it as a business competitive edge?
Yes. There are 2 aspects. One is the business aspects of it. One is the product aspect of it. This team, myself and Vijay are from the product team. There are certain scenarios which we have to enable from the CAS angle, from the product refresh angle, etc., which we take care of on a daily basis. But we have not, the scope of this project that we have handled doesn't cover that actually. Of course, that was there, that is taken up separately. From a product angle, the service outage from a product angle where you have signal loss and things like that are covered here. Yes, that had a different magnitude altogether. The billing operations and the IT operations and the technology operations, the head end satellite and all, what was it? It had a different quantum of magnitude altogether.
Right.
I think if you get into that, that is going to be a.
No, I think that is going to be the next wave of the challenge.
In fact,
You've done only step. I mean, this is only step one.
No, in fact, that is handled already. I mean, that is handled by a different team altogether. So that's a different project altogether, and that has been. I mean, that was actually handled and settled well before this was, rather midway.
Are you sure?
Yes. Yeah. And in fact, that is reflected in in the AOP discussions that we always do. Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks.